At the end of the last episode we were just north of Saddleworth Railway Viaduct. We moored on this bend here where you can see there's the canal widens. This episode we're going to continue going northeast and we're going to go to Diggle. But before we do that, I want to just look at the journey that we've taken so far. We started at Shardlow and followed the Trent and Mersey Canal through Burton-on-Trent, through Stoke-on-Trent, and north of Stoke-on-Trent we took the Macclesfield Canal, which is this green line, which took us around Congleton, past Macclesfield, through Bollington and up to Marple Junction. This is the junction with the Peak Forest Canal, which is the red line, and at this junction we turned left and went through Romiley, Woodley, Hyde, and we ended up at Dukinfield Junction at Ashton-under-Lyne. Dukinfield Junction is actually the junction of three canals: the Peak Forest Canal, the red line, the Huddersfield Narrow Canal, the blue line, and the Ashton Canal, which is this line here. I haven't coloured it in because we didn't go on it, but that comes in from Manchester. We picked up the blue line and went through Staley Bridge, Mossley, and at the last episode we were just north of Saddleworth. So in this episode we're going to go across the Pennine Ridge, which is here, and the means that the canal company used to cross the Pennines at this point was a tunnel, and it's called Stanage Tunnel. It's 3¼ miles long, and it's the deepest canal tunnel in the country. It's also the highest above sea level, and it's also the longest canal tunnel in the country. So it's quite a notable feature, and it's an amazing feat of engineering to consider that it was commenced in 1795 using picks and shovels. I didn't do any videoing inside the tunnel because I was too occupied with driving the boat through, but in a future episode there might be some footage of us coming back the other way. You'll have to wait and see about that. So we start at Diggle and go for 3¼ miles, and we see daylight again at Marsden, and that's where this episode will end. I'm going to do a little fly through for the tunnel journey because, as I say, I didn't take any video, so I'm just going to do a flyover through Google Earth and tell you a little bit about the history of the Stanage Tunnel. Sunday, April the 30th, and we're setting off in rain this morning. We've just done the servicing over there at the old transshipment warehouse, and I'm just waiting for the next lot, which is just up there. It's empty, so Sue's going to open the gates. This is lock 24, second lock of the day, and it's quite unusual because the tailgate is just a single gate. It's the first lock we've been in where the tailgates are just one gate. I don't quite know the reason for that, but it makes it easier for the person on top, because they haven't got to keep crossing over. Another unusual feature of these locks is that the ground paddle controls are both on the same side, which again helps the person doing the lock doesn't have to keep walking across the canal. But I can see there's only one working on this lock, but in the interest of efficiency, Sue's gone to get the next lock prepared, which hopefully will be empty. They're all empty. The last boat that passed through was going down, so they should all be empty. So I'm left behind now to sort this one out once the boat's gone through.
tends to rebound back in towards the gate. So we put the reverse gear on to brake it, so I don't want to lose my boat. Right, okay, going into a Pennine landscape now. This is Dobcross, and we're getting towards the hills and Stanage Tunnel, which is about 5 or 6 locks away. As we're approaching Diggle, the water is decidedly brown now, and that's no doubt due to it coming off the moors. It's really brown. We've got 2 more locks to go and then we've done. And I've just seen 2 people with an ice cream, and they say the ice cream's at the top of the flight, so I'm looking forward to having an ice cream when we've done this. We're not doing too bad. At least the locks are empty when we get there. We're doing about a lock every 15 minutes, which is not bad going. Gates are opening, so we better go. There are no paddles on these gates, so to drain the lock, it's by means of these ground paddles that are in the recess just behind the bottom gates. That's an arrangement we've not come across before. I think we're getting near civilization, because there's a lot more gongoozlers now watching what we're doing as we're going up the lock. So 1 more after this one, then we're done. It looks like there's a cafe here. Yeah, it's quite a popular little gathering place on a bank holiday weekend. This is the last lock before the tunnel, 32 west, and again we've got loads of gongoozlers, which is nice in a way. As long as nothing goes wrong, they all seem to be pretty impressed with how locks work, the youngsters, which is good. Nice to see. And there's another boat moored up here. In fact, there's 2, 3. I hope we can get in. I think this is where we're moored. So that's the 9 locks done in just under 2 hours, which is pretty good. Pretty good. I'm going to put our feet up, get an ice cream, and that cafe looks very appealing, so we might just treat ourselves to a meal in there this afternoon. We've arrived at the mooring point for the Diggle end of the Stanage Tunnel at the top of lock 32, and that's where we are. The tunnel is just round that corner, about a quarter of a mile away, I think. But when we came out of that lock, all of a sudden the engine temperature light came on, and caused a bit of a panic. So what I did, I got a little bit of momentum up. We could see this mooring, so I just switched the engine off and coasted into here. And I was a bit anxious that the coolant was low. So what we did, we decided to go down to the little cafe down there and have some lunch and let the engine cool. And when we came back, I thought I'd better have a look and top the water up. Anyway, when I took the cover off the engine, I found that, and that was on one of the hoses, and as you can see, it's snapped in half. So the hose hadn't actually come off, but the hose had leaked all the water, all the coolant water out of the engine, and there was no water in it at all. And I haven't got a spare one of these, so I've had to call RCR, which was that van down there. He's just gone, he's just repaired it. We're just running the engine, and we're up and running again. And I really can't speak highly enough of the RCR engineers. This is the third one we've had out now, and he was here when he said he was going to be here, and he stayed right until he's happy that everything's as it should be. So we're back up and running, and we'll be able to hit the tunnel tomorrow. That was the main worry, really, that we'd booked the tunnel for tomorrow morning, and without an operable engine we weren't going anywhere. But I'm pleased to say all is well, and it's 7 o'clock now. I rang him at 2:30. He was here at 5:30 and he's just gone. So that's a really excellent service from the Canal version of the AA or RAC. We've had a shower of rain. There's a big black cloud looming its way towards us, but we have had a little break in the rain, and we've had a bit of blue sky, but that seems to have gone away again now. So tomorrow it's the tunnel. Well, it's Monday, May the 1st, and we're all set for the tunnel. We've had a walk up. The boat's not here at the moment, but we've had a walk up, and one's just come out. There's another one coming through. We've had a word with the CRT pilot who came on the previous boat, and he's now going to take this boat behind us through. And he thinks it's going to be about 3/4 of an hour before we see the second boat. There's only 2 boats coming south, so that will probably quicken up the time for us. So we're booked to go through at 1:30, but I think we're going to be in before then. This boat will be the next one in, and then we'll be behind this one. He's just giving them a briefing. But we've got a bit of sunshine this morning, which is nice, so all's looking good. And that's the southern portal, which we visited a couple of years ago. Came up in the car just to have a look, and went to Marsden in the car to the visitor centre. And the railway's right next to it. Of course, there's a railway tunnel that runs parallel with the canal tunnel. At a higher level, the canal tunnel is the lower of all the tunnels. There's 4 tunnels actually going through, 2 of which are disused. The canal and then the railway, and 2 disused ones. The boat in front of us is just about ready to go. It's about 11:20, and the chaperone who's sitting on the wall having his breakfast is the one that we're taking through with us, and he's told us we'll be going about 12:30, so we've got over an hour before we go. Fortunately, it's not raining. This chap's just getting his briefing, and he's measured the boat, and we've passed the test, but we've had to take the crash cover off because he's worried that where it touches the boat on the corner, it's a bit vulnerable there if we just bump the tunnel. So we've taken it off, as he's suggested. Everything else is alright. Don't even have to take the bag of coal off the roof. So it's good to go, as they say. We've got the tunnel light already. We've got 2 lights to use today. And we're just going to have a cup of tea and a bit of something to eat. We've got to get water. The water point is up there where the man is sitting on the wall, so we've got to go up there. And once we've got water, we're ready to go.
I've checked in, yeah, we can go straight through all the checkups, so we don't need to stop
At all?
at any checkpoint. And then it'll just be a case of gauging the timing for the trip back.
Right, okay. Well, we've got a clock down there.
Yeah,
You've got one on your wrist anyway. I don't wear a watch up here. I've dropped too many in the canal.
in the side, yeah. You will touch the side, so
Yeah, well, that's why I'm doing
it'll probably
just going
sound
steady.
a lot worse than it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't need my torch to over your line.
I've marked on the fly-through the main shafts that were used to construct the tunnel. The tunnel was constructed by sinking a vertical shaft from the top of the moor down to the proposed canal level, and then the canal tunnel was actually dug in 2 directions away from each shaft. We'll start the fly-through, and we're starting at the diggle end. And straight away you'll see that there are 3 coloured lines. The red line indicates the current live railway line, which runs through a tunnel. The blue line is the canal tunnel, and the green line indicates the position of the now disused railway tunnels. There were 2 railway tunnels dug. The first tunnel was dug as a single line, but as traffic increased on the railway, they found that it was necessary to bore another tunnel, so there were 2 single line tunnels on the right of this picture. Those 2 tunnels now are disused because of the later railway tunnel. The disused railway tunnel is now used by the Canal and River Trust for vehicular access all the way through for maintenance of the canal tunnel. These 2 tunnels, the canal tunnel and the old railway tunnel, were connected by adits, and they were dug to facilitate the disposal of spoil from the railway tunnel by boat through the canal. And those adits still exist, and the Canal and River Trust use those adits to follow boats through and to make sure that they're continuing on their journey and they haven't broken down. So there are about 4 or 5 checkpoints in the whole length where you will see Canal and River Trust employees just checking that the boat is still proceeding as it should, and we saw those on the way through. The canal was designed by Benjamin Outram, and almost immediately they hit problems with the tunnel because of water coming into the shafts that they were constructing. These shafts are picked out on these map pins on the way through, and there's a reservoir there that supplies water to the canal. The main road here is the A62. The canal was begun in 1795 and it took 16 years to build. In 1806 the problems were so bad for the canal company and they were running out of money that they called in Thomas Telford to advise on the most cost-effective means of completing the tunnel and in fact the whole of the canal. And he produced a report. Most of its findings were implemented and the canal eventually opened in April 1811. So that was 16 years after the tunnel had started. So here we are at the Marsden end, and you can see the railway curves away there, and the canal goes under the railway into a basin there, and then under the railway yet again, and continues down there towards Huddersfield.